Hello everyone, this is StichRulez, and I wanted to talk about a card that got released from the card trader just a couple of days ago uh, called Tornado Dragon. It's an XYZ card, and the effect is once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, then target one spell and trap card on the field, destroy it. This is a generic 2 level 4 monsters to get it summoned. So this is pretty much like the a mystical space typhoon on legs. Since it's a quick effect, which is a great addition, because if you look at cards that are meta right now, meta decks that are top tier, which are Utopia. This is an excellent addition to their deck theme, giving them the ability to use this card if they go first, because now they have a way to manage multiple negates, monster negates, and they have a pop of an MST quick effect on their opponent's field. So any deck theme that specializes in heavy back row or relies on specific cards like field spell cards, this can be an extra disruption on top of the Utopia monster effects that they already have that can kind of negate multiple monster effects and put tremendous pressure on the opponent from right off the bat. So Tornado Dragon is great for not only Utopia decks, but if a person's also utilizing Star Wrath, this is another additional XYZ that can be used easily, giving them the ability, instead of needing multiple level 4 monsters, they just need 2, so they don't have to invest too much into getting this card out, and it's a great way to just get one specific piece of back row or a critical piece out of the opponent's side of the field. It's overall, and on top of that, it has an attack of 2100 and defense 2000, so it's also a great body. It doesn't have weak attack or defense stats for a rank 4 monster card, so this is a great way to get over monsters. It has spell and trap card removal, can be utilized on your opponent's side of the field or your side of during your turn. So it's an overall great card, and easy to get to. Depending on the type of skill that a deck utilizes, they may not be able to use XYZ cards, but in the current format, Utopia is definitely going to utilize this card, just for the fact that there's very low investment to utilizing this card, and they can get this card easily on a consistent basis onto the field. And there's a lot of top decks currently that do rely on some sort of back row. If you look at Ancient Gears, is a perfect example. Most Ancient Gear decks, they rely on their limit 1 trap card to have effect negation mobility. This card's going to put a lot of pressure on their side of the field, because they can basically destroy that card when they utilize their skill or they hard draw it. So they're going to have to worry about this card, and it's amazing how one card like this card can really help. Like, it can shift tier deck themes into different tier levels. Utopia was a perfect, already a strong deck already. The ability to go first, has one of the strongest first turn boards, perhaps in all of history of Yu-Gi-Oh! For Duel Links, and now they get this additional XYZ card that can pop back row on top of that without any sort of downside investment. So they instantly get a buff on top of they're already good going first, and then on top of that, this card can be used a second, because Utopia doesn't have a stronger. They don't have they rather go first most of the time against decks rather than going second. So their going second, they are a little bit more exposed to trying to crack the opponent's side of the board. So, but this card, if you have multiple special summon for level 4 monsters, you can put this already on the field with no investment and pop back row, then remove it utilizing the Utopia skill, and then gain 2 more additional cards by revealing one of your monsters in your hand. So you have the ability to have no major investment, and on top of that, you have the ability to pop back row with very low costs. Again, this card is going to see very high competitive play. It was well needed, and any deck theme that can utilize this XYZ cards into their deck without having to be restricted to their skill is going to use this card. It's an easy way to get removal over floodgates and hard to get cards that you would necessarily need to utilize in your deck, like Ghost Cyclone or Mystical Space Typhoon, to hard draw it. Now you have a built-in slot in your extra deck that you can utilize to get floodgates removed. And as you know, cards like Necro Valley exist, and that can completely shut down a lot of different deck themes. Now it's going to be easier to take down cards like that because you don't necessarily have to draw the Ghost Cyclone or the Mystical Space Typhoon. You could just get into this and carry on with removing Necro Valley off the field, and you can continue on with whatever strategy that you're utilizing. But in the current meta right now, Utopia is going to get the most benefit from this. Star Seraph is another good deck, like I mentioned before, but Utopia, hands down, in the current meta decks that are top tier, Utopia instantly gets a buff. They're now even stronger against certain matchups that they already are already strong, and also they can go against the different pendulum decks much easier. Because, as you know, pendulum decks rely on their scales. And if you destroy their scales, they can't pendulum summon. And it's much harder for them to get onto the board rather than being already on the board because they can utilize the pendulum skills. So getting extra disruption on their pendulum skills can remove them off the field. And you're forcing your opponent to having to commit to reestablishing their pendulum scales through disruption, because this card is quick effect. So any pendulum skills can be destroyed, and so forth. So Utopia, as of right now, and of course there's going to be new decks that get released in the near future. But as of right now, Utopia is tremendously benefited from this card. It's an instant one staple in their deck because they tend to struggle with back row, and most Utopia decks use some sort of back row removal in their main deck, like Ghost Cyclone being one of the main pieces. But now they have a slot in their extra deck that they can rely on at any time, and they can be used against going first. And if they're forced to go second, they can use it against going second as two without any really heavy investment. Especially if you're running 3 copies of all the skill effect requirement cards for their skill for the Utopia theme. It's a perfect addition and well needed for Utopia and decks that kind of struggle with back row. And now, because now Tornado Dragon's available, it's a great card, and on top of that, of everything else, it's absolutely free, which is kind of surprising because this feels like a card that could be easily put in a bundle set, but it's not. So any person can get this card through the card trader. So in the coming days, if you have not already seen it, because card traders gets restocked every so often, so pay close to mind of the card trader and their release on this card, because if your deck theme is not restricted to any specific archetypes or specific types of cards like links and fusion, consider utilizing this card, because it's going to benefit you in a lot of different ways, especially with cards that kind of rely deck strategies rely on back row. Shaddolls rely on some sort of back row with Schism, and also Ancient Gear rely heavily on back row to protect their monsters with activating their effects so they can continue on with their plays. So right now in the current meta, this card is very powerful, and it has a lot of longevity, great attack and defense stats, easy to put on the field. So everything is great for this card, and like I said, consider utilizing it. And it's free, and you can't beat free. So like I said, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Consider utilizing this card in your deck theme strategies and ways that you can put forth maximizing its potential. Especially if you play Utopia, you're going to instantly enjoy this card, because Utopia's main weaknesses is back row type of disruption. So okay, so once again, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you are enjoying the videos that I continuously publish, and any new cards that come up that I feel that are worth publishing, I will discuss. Thank you again for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.